surrender applied with a cup full of willingness, right? Like,
Right. Yeah.
like that willing to do what is suggested, because, you know, as you were sharing your experience here as of late, I can really identify, you know, and the willingness to do what is suggested can sometimes be difficult. But I think that, and we've discussed this, I think that we've been so conditioned to not trust ourselves, and a lot of it is based on poor decision making on our own end, right? A lot of the decisions that we made, a lot of the actions based in the decisions that we made led us down negative places, right? But if I can go back and I can reevaluate my life, I heard a still small voice inside of me saying not to do these things, you know, when I was a kid, I knew I didn't need to be smoking. I fucking knew that I didn't.
Right.
But I didn't know that not smoking would allow me to still be accepted within that group. Like, the desire to be accepted within the group of kids that I was hanging out with that were also smoking was stronger than my desire for self-preservation as a child. And that continued in through drug addiction, alcoholism, unhealthy sexual behavior, you know, stealing, violence.
Well, and I just want to point out, too, that the reason that you knew that you had that inner voice inside of you was because the guilt you felt afterwards, right?
That was part of it, yeah.
It's like, why would you feel guilty if there was nothing inside of you that felt like it was wrong?
Right? Like, there's this thing that I want to live, you know? And it's so loud within our culture, at least the way that I've seen it through social media and social gatherings and peer pressure and all the things that created all the things that I gathered to create who I was, my identity, right? A lot of it was built around not trusting yourself. You know, don't listen to this, listen to that, right? And so when it comes to like trusting yourself, okay, let's go to the food for a minute, okay? In my family, food is a demonstration of love. My mom did not feed me junk food because she hated me.
Right, yeah.
My mom did not take me out for ice cream as a kid to show me love when I was sad because she hated me. She did it. And so as I moved forward in life, using food as a way to self-medicate, right? Eventually, as the pounds started packing on, the self-esteem started getting lower. You know, the vision that I had for myself started disappearing. And the voice inside of me said, you need to stop this. I pushed that away and said, no. This is how I show I love myself. I work towards being able to do these negative things. And somehow it got disrupted. It got distorted, the difference between self-love and self-destruction, right? I wanted to be accepted as a kid, so I smoked because I was looking for love. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to feel loved, and so I was promiscuous, right? Like, because if I had enough sex with enough people, I could go to those same other people and brag about how much sex I was having. Or if I drank a certain amount, I could, like, somehow it leveled me up in the eyes of my ego or whatever. I could do these negative things at a higher level, and then I would be more accepted, therefore be more loved. And so throughout all that stuff, right, there's moments where I can go back in my mind and I can remember, you know, like my 21st birthday, you know. I remember leaving the bar on my 21st birthday before I wrecked my truck, because I wrecked my truck on my 21st birthday, drunk, okay? And I remember hearing that voice saying, fucking don't drive. You know, and I think...
Even though you were already drunk?
Even though I was already drunk. And it happened a lot. I think that a lot of people can identify with that inability to trust ourselves to do the right thing.
Yeah, I just think that it becomes easier to ignore that inner voice when we're intoxicated, which is why we're always out to do it.
Sure.
Right.
And luckily, this time around, I surrendered to my conscience, not to my ego. My conscience said, you need to get fucking sober, and you need to shut the fuck up and do whatever this guy tells you to do. He's been sober for 27 years, you know, and I'm talking about my first sponsor. I'm talking about the guy that got me sober, because I had tried enough things. I had tried it enough different times to know that whatever it is I thought I knew about change was not accurate, you know? And what came out of that is this new way of life, this new way of looking at things, this new way of trusting myself to do the next right thing. You know, in AA, one of the big things is, you know, they say first thought wrong. You ever heard that? First thought wrong.
I don't know if I have. I mean, I probably have, I would imagine, somewhere at some point.
What about don't trust your first thought?
Sure.
What about me in my own head is in bad company?
Yes.
You know,
that absolutely.
All those
I've
things.
said that on the podcast.
You know, and I think all those things are true early on.
Sure.
Right. But as we surrender to a process that shows to ourselves that we can make the next right choice, even when we're alone, it gets better and better and better. Right.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree that gets better.
You know, it gets to where being in my own head isn't, you know, I kind of clean up my neighborhood kind of thing, you know, as we clean up our diets and we clean up our homes and our bodies and our minds, you know.
And make amends.
Making amends, all those things. But surrendering to a process that works for people like us is just a good idea. If you be alcoholic like I be alcoholic,